Hello and welcome to Law and Order SVU here on FANVERSATION. I am Yael Tygiel. I'm joined by my incredible panel. Hello, Felicia.
Felicia Michelle. Put some respect on my name. It's two of them. 1, 2. Hello. Yes, I'm brand new in this particular episode. Have the same grungy gray crew neck on, but new energy.
I see that. My apologies, Miss Felicia Michelle.
Thank you.
Hello, Miss Taylor Gates.
Oh, hello. Wow, I get the two names too.
I learned my lesson. Oh my goodness. Welcome. For those who are just joining us, this is season 23, episode 18, 18 Wheels of Predator. Literally typing it out now made me realize that the number 18 is the episode title as well. Didn't catch that before, guys. It's been a day. If you are just new to our show, please know that we have a hotline for you. That hotline is 1-800-656-4673. That is the RAINN Hotline, 1-800-656-4673. Panel, Felicia Michelle.
It spells hope. It spells hope.
It spells hope. It does. And you know what? I'm going to let you have that today because it's Easter/Passover/Ramadan and I'm feeling generous. So
it is. Happy Easter/Passover/Ramadan.
Why didn't they Christmas Hana Kwanzaa that one? Why didn't they do that? Because y'all Christmas Hana Kwanzaa us to death in between November and December, and y'all couldn't have come up with nothing for that.
It's a good point.
I don't know who you need to speak to, but I would like you to speak to them
about it. Yes.
Yeah.
Over a dawn?
What?
Over a dawn.
Oh, she's trying to figure it out.
Over a dawn.
I'll allow it.
Does it roll off the tongue? No. Does it work? Technically, yes.
Okay. For those who haven't noticed, sometimes this show goes dark, and when that happens, we make light. And on this show, we say some shit, and I'm going to be the one to say it, probably. So consider yourself prepared. I feel like in the last 15 minutes, we have lost our fucking mind, and I don't know what's going on. Here is the quick cap for this episode. Rollins and Finn investigate an assault in Kentucky that has striking similarities to that of a victim found in Central Park. Benson receives intel that turns the case upside down. Fine, quick cap. Hello, Jennifer in our chat. Zach is here again, and so is Danny. Welcome, and everyone else. What did we think of this episode? Felicia Michelle, would you like to begin?
Sure. It was better than that last one. It was way better than the last one. Way, way better. There were actually twists and turns that I was not expecting that I got. I love a serial anything. I love a serial anything, okay? Like, I watch like a lot of crime dramas, and like those are my favorite types of people just because of the pathology behind it. And so we get a little bit of that criminal pathology, you know, with that crazy ass call. And it was great. I thought it was a really great episode. And then plus we kind of got a BOGO. We got two crimes for one episode. And I like that too.
We did get a BOGO. That is so true. Taylor, what'd you think?
I agree. I thought this was a very fun episode. Lots of twists, which I love. I do have to apologize to my girl Demi. I thought she was extremely shady, and it turns out she was a victim. So I'm very sorry, Demi. But you were giving me vibes. I was like, she is guilty of something, but she wasn't, and I feel bad for thinking that.
Jennifer in the chat says it felt like a solid old school SVU episode, nothing particularly new, but well done. I'm gonna be honest. I started this episode thinking we were getting like the RDK episode, which is season 6, episode 4, Scavenger. I thought we were gonna have a predator who is teasing us with clues and you know, taking us on this journey, and we did not get that. So I was a little bit disappointed, but I will say I got to tell you guys a story. So my roommate watches this show with me. He's not a big SVU fan, but he sits through it. And now I wait to watch with him, which is very fun. And a lot of times when we're watching older episodes, because as you may know, I do just watch episodes throughout the week all the time. And he will sit there and go, he did it. He did it. He did. Just anyone comes on screen, he will say he did it. The episode starts and the first shot is of our perp. And he goes, he did it. And I went, yeah, probably. Guys, he did it.
He did
I
it.
didn't even notice.
Opening shot
Didn't even notice.
is our guy.
Did it.
Oh, incredible. So I just thought you all should share this adventure that I went on. Also, this episode, you're totally right, was a BOGO. We had this predator who was a wild guy, and then we had incest.
Yeah.
Unexpected, but fun. Weird way to say it, but fun.
That was the twist that I actually appreciated the most. And I know that probably sounds weird because as I watched it on the first watching, I was like, is this woman just not a good actress? Like, I was like, is she just not? I was like, something isn't clicking for me. And I'm like, something is not. And I'm like, well, he's a weirdo. And then when it kind of got clued that something is wrong in the home, then she's like, I can't go in there. And I was like, if I had $1 for every time my brother or sister said, don't go in their room, and I went in there, I have a whole lot of dollars. Siblings don't care about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they usually don't. They're like, what do you mean I can't go over there? Psh, what are you doing in there? You know?
I genuinely think that we all had a lot of different feelings about it. Demi, I want to give a shout out to Emma Lenderman, who played Demi. I genuinely think that we all had different takes from her, right? Yeah. So you thought she was not a great actress. Taylor thought that she was sketchy.
What the hell is going on with her?
You feel something?
The part where Dustin calls out the guy for like touching her, I really thought that he was trying to show Kayla at the bar, like, I'm a good guy. Like, I thought that was all he was doing, was playing this like, look, I protect women thing. So the fact that it turned out into something else completely.
Probably just jealous.
Yeah. Like, that's his property and you're touching it.
I think she did I will say, I want to like give a shout out to the actress though, because I feel like she did a really good job when you know like what happened. Like, all of her choices like make sense because she is like, nervous, but she's trying to cover, but she's also kind of throwing him under the bus here. And I think she did a really good job, and I like that we got her like more prominently featured at the end, because I was like, there is something just like off about this, like, and I don't know what, but she was in my mind through the whole episode. I was like, something's happening with her, and I thought that was a really good, memorable.
I want to also give a shout out to Ryan Coyle, who played Dustin. Look, I don't know how to say this nicely, but you seem creepy as fuck. Congratulations.
You acted the shit out of that. You did that.
I was like, this guy's such a creep.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. Congrats. I don't know how to say it nicer.
I mean, that is a congrats. I think that's for actors. I think that is something that they like, oh my God, I played a villain or I played an evil person and I did such a good job that you can't stand me now or you're creeped out by me. Like,
yeah.
He knew he signed up for.
I hope so. It'd be weird if he didn't.
Yeah, that might be a little off.
Reading, especially the second part where we find out we're like, oh, okay.
I didn't understand why he beat her up. I was like, why did you beat her up that bad? Like,
so, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, people. I think that she planted the wallet to keep him in jail.
Yeah.
And then he came out and was like, you planted the wallet. And that's why he beat her up.
I get it, but that's a lot. That was an ass whooping that can get you back into jail. Like, why just like a mild ass whooping wouldn't have done? Like, you beat her up that bad?
I mean, earlier she says to the cop, she says, she's like, I don't want to betray him. And they're like, we're not asking you to betray him. We're asking you to be honest. I was like, you're asking her to betray him.
Yeah,
so I think
it's the same thing. Yeah.
So I think she betrayed him, and that's why it was a more than mild, a spicy ass whooping.
It was fine. It was extra spicy. But the thing about it was like, again, it's back to like pathology of like criminals is what I really, really enjoy. If I was to not do this, I'd probably be like in an office stuck up somewhere, like doing research, like interviewing these terrible people. But it's his thing when he was like, we're all we have. We're who each other has. Like in his mind, it's like a romantic relationship, but he knows it's just sick. It's just so sick. Like it was given we're in a relationship. We're dating.
It's just like the last episode. I think
since 12. Where were
yeah.
where the fuck was your parents at?
They died.
When did they die?
They said that were having other problems. They couldn't do anything or something, right? That's what they said. She was like, "Oh no, I didn't tell them because they had other stuff going on."
Yeah, I was like,
"What? It could be more important." Like, okay,
they were dying.
I guess. Was it confirmed they died?
You don't hear that in your house, and if it's not you, if I have some kids and I hear in my house and I know it's not me, I'm gonna investigate. Because who could it be?
Yeah.
I'm now interested to what your neighbor thinks is happening.
Oh. Your neighbor's like, everything okay?
It's only if anything, it was really quick. If that's that few little hits. I mean, come on. If anything, it's
How disappointing.
Because they were like, damn, her life sucks.
Right? That's what they're thinking. They're worried about you. They're like, this girl, she could do better.
Hang a little longer, so I'm like, I have something going on here.
Okay, where were we?
Who knows, Yael?
I'm supposed to.
We're in the Twilight Zone.
Let's keep talking about this incest because I do want to talk about I have to give this credit because she deserves it so much. So Dustin's lawyer, counselor Timmy Gianpaolo is played by, yes,
love.
Really amazing, wonderful woman, deserves the world. And from what I hear, according to Twitter, this character will return.
Oh, she's great.
Honestly, I want to see this character in a courtroom.
Yeah. She's wonderful. Love her.
Because there's the moment where we realized about the incest. My notes say incest twist. And he's like, you can't trust a word she says. And Carisi says, that's your sister. Show some respect. I honestly think that was the moment when I was like, ooh, this lawyer, you look at her face and she's like, what am I defending? What am I doing?
Like, what did I sign up for? Who is this?
It's like that meme that's like record scratch. You probably are wondering how I ended up here.
It felt like she was like, look, I'll defend you because I don't think you assaulted this girl. Maybe you did, but I don't think you did. And then she's like, oh, I don't know that I want to keep defending you. You're raping your sister.
She was like, that got weird fast.
So I hope we see her in the future. I hope that is true. And I hope that it is in a courtroom because that was so great. But let's go back to the serial rapist. Again, he makes the phone call, and I really thought that we were getting this, like, he was going to be calling them and giving them tips and throwing them off the case. Yeah. But he literally just called to be like, you got it wrong. And then they found him.
Yeah. Yep.
He blocked his number, though.
For those listening to the audio podcast, you missed the deepest eye roll ever.
I'm just like, criminals are so dumb. And then even like, and if you haven't seen our last episode that we recorded just 10 minutes ago, we were talking about not trusting cops and stuff like that. And I was like, criminals are dumb. Like, that's how criminals get caught, because they are dumb. And that was dumb. And it kind of led into, if you think about it, like his his life, and like it gives you a better pathology on him. He's not smart enough to understand technology. He does not have a job where he constantly keeps up with technology and has to be around people and know what's up. Not that he's dumb, but he's just not current.
I think you're totally right. I mean, they say to him like, you wouldn't have been caught if you didn't call. Like you would have gotten away with it. And then we ask why he did it, and he's like, I took what I wanted because I could.
He also is totally, he's doing it for the fame, because he looks and he's like, oh, are you recording this? Maybe someday I'll make a Dateline or Netflix special. So he's one of those. Like, he's one of those. He wants the fame of it. He wanted to get caught a little bit because he wanted the notoriety of it. Like,
I'm just imagining his.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I just think he just didn't want someone else to get his credit. I don't think he cared I don't think he cared about like someone was held responsible, but to know that there's a possibility that he's done all of these things and now this one person could get credit for all of the rapes that he has, the assaults. I won't say rapes because we talked about like incomplete rape this episode. Mm-hmm. So like I would say all the assaults, like they get credit for all that hard work that he did, you know? And there's a bit of like pathology that they want to be known. They do it, serials especially, because they want the notoriety of it was me, I did it, like, you know, all that stuff. Which, okay, let me just go off on tangent right here, so sorry guys. All of these true crime television shows that come out that glamorize this, all the times, you know, I can't stand you about doing this shit. Sunday's just gonna do that. All this media attention and how media handles like crime, it's been glamorized. There are some people who are not working in the right center of their brain. They fucked up somewhere up in here. I don't know where, because I'm not a neurosurgeon or anything like that. I just know people are fucking crazy. And they have decided that I want that. I want that news coverage. I want that fandom. I want that, like that whole, there's that thing about Pam. I would have never known who any of these people were had this not continue to be brought back up again, or the girl from Plainsville, if that not had to continue to be brought back up again. Now this whole new thing with Jessica Biel, she's
Candy,
right? It's like I would have never known any of these people if everything around this case isn't glamorized, and people just want the glamour. They want to see themselves. People want to be rewarded for their bad behavior, and people are crazy. And now can I go back to regular size?
Yes. Yeah, I got you. I agree. I think Alice Jones in the chat says, I wanted more cat and mouse, make your Netflix special more interesting. Honestly, that was my same thought, was like, you messed up by calling and telling them. And now the way that they caught you, your special's boring. Like it reminds me of, not to make this too crimey, but the story about the hotel in LA where the girl drowned.
Hotel Cecil.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't watch that. Is that like, I heard it was scary.
No, so I'm gonna ruin it for everybody. It like, they lead you on this adventure like it's something like there's a ghost, or like she was attacked, or you know, something, and it's just a sad story about mental illness. Like, it's not to say that her story shouldn't be told, but the way that they did the special was a letdown, and that's what would happen to this man. Aaron Wesley Parker, your special is going to be boring because you know how they caught you? You were stupid. I want to also talk about the most important scene of the entire thing, which is in the casino.
I was gonna say, I was like, if you say anything but the casino, like we're done. Like, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah, not only
on the line.
I don't care. That scene was amazing.
That scene was amazing. We get this information from RAINN, who was assaulted 6 years prior, and she hears on the phone that his name is Wes, that he has a wife, and that it's his birthday. And Benson was like, that's all we need. We already know the company he works for. We've narrowed it down now. She is the break in the case that leads us to the casino. Taylor, tell us about this scene.
I just like loved this scene so much because we got Olivia doing what Olivia does so well. I think their conversation just felt so like it was so weirdly authentic, if that makes sense. I was like, oh, I like see them actually like she just played him so well. She sits down at the little slot machine, is a little bit flirty. He like totally falls for it, gives her all the details she needs. She killed that. Like it was just so good. She looked great. Like I think we'd be remiss not to talk about that.
Have you seen my Twitter? I've literally asked for information about that sweater, and I've received. I will retweet it, everybody. We have the information as to where to find that sweater. It is very expensive.
Yep, I am.
It is. Shit.
I also have received information about where to find the sweater at a cheaper rate, and I've put a version of it on my Amazon wish list.
Thank God.
Yes, go on, Taylor. I just wanted to agree with you that we're going to talk about how good she looked.
Yeah, she just was like the master of small talk there, like doing little by little, just pulling all these little details out, playing the part. She knew exactly how to play him, exactly how to act. I don't know. I just thought she did so. I was just so good. I just loved everything about that scene so much.
I agree. I think that was really a really fun end to this journey. I wish there was a little bit more of a journey. I mean, when we find the second victim, when he calls and he's like, there's a second victim, we're in Kentucky, and it's near a truck stop. And all the information we're given is that he's not local. He thought that this would be a deserted spot, but anyone knows this is where you go to like
started, but this the hidey hole.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, you know, going somewhere and being like, no one comes here, and then finding out that it's a very popular place.
I'm gonna say something that's unpopular right now. That last scene was just okay.
Which last scene?
The last scene that y'all were talking about with Olivia when she confronts her in the casino, it was just okay for me. Like, it was okay. It was like, okay, like, that's how it's ending. Okay. Like, and as far as her sweater, like, shit, I got one right here just like it. Like, I done wore it on the show like 3 times. I got this for $12. So I'm not super impressed.
I don't know. I don't know how to like describe it, but it was something about how like smooth and like,
it was I think it was how it initially entered, right? So it was initially like these cops, like, we found him, like, we're so excited to arrest, and she was like, hold on, let me talk to him real quick. Once you're arrested, it'll lawyer up. Just let me talk to him real quick. I think that was super swaggy, but the actual like sit down and like the conversation, it was like,
oh, I think she completely disappeared into that. Like, I just thought she did such a like natural job. Like, I don't know. It just felt like a conversation they'd actually have. Like, it didn't feel so scripted, if that makes sense. It felt really like
she might not have. I kind of wonder sometimes too, in her doing these episodes and her being this character for such a long time, how often she goes off script, or how often they decide to improvise or make things like that happen, or who knows if that was even in there at all. Maybe she was like, let's just see what happens. I don't know, but it was cool. But it wasn't like, I didn't feel the ground shake, and I live where earthquakes are. So.
I don't know that.
I think that what I loved about the conversation was that it felt she got him to confirm that he was in New York on the date that it happened. Like, information that usually they would have to question him and then he'd probably lawyer. But so the fact that she got him talking and she knew when to give up on the thing because he was like putting it together. Yeah. I think that was so interesting. Jennifer points out it was natural dialogue, but not interesting. And I think that that's the case. I don't know that it was improvised, because I think like they literally had to get to certain things. Yeah. And so I think that, you know, she just did great. Jennifer also says, I think Mariska is great in the scene. The writing could have been better. So, also about the sweater, I knew I'd seen it, and I was like, I don't think Taylor has this. Okay, let me Felicia Michelle.
Say something about this sweater, you guys. I love this freaking sweater, and because it's literally there's not many sweaters that you wear in LA, right? So this is like I only have a few sweaters, and I've worn this on this show probably like 3 or 4 times, and I had it today. It's like clean. That's why it's like sitting in the laundry. It's like clean, like smells all good, right? And I was like, do not put that fucking sweater on today, Felicia. Don't you put that fucking sweater on, because they have seen that sweater. I knew somebody, I was like, somebody, a hater gonna leave a comment like, does she got anything else to wear? Is she Doug Funny or is she Felicia Michelle? And I was like, I'm Felicia Michelle, so I won't wear it today.
You should have.
You should have. It's such a good sweater. You look great in it.
No, I need people to be able to differentiate our episodes. And if I wear the same,
that's fair.
Well, I wear the same 3, and I'm not gonna stop doing that. So sorry in advance.
I just want to be a cartoon character.
I should start wearing the same thing every episode to be a cartoon character. Now I really want that. Holly says, I love any scene that Benson plays these idiots for the fools that they are. And I think that's the takeaway from that. I want to ask, sorry, I'm in pain now. We've been sitting too long.
I know.
Yeah.
But wait, we know something that'll make you feel better? If y'all go on to iTunes right now, wherever listen to this podcast, and give it 5 stars so that Yo's back will feel better. And I don't know what the scientific method behind that is, but I know that it'll work. If you give 4 stars, then I don't know, just give 5. Thanks for listening, and leave a comment. Leave my girl some well wishes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You're so
make you feel better though.
Your segues are so good. I love them. I love them so much. Oh, I want to talk about McGrath because he's a piece of crap and we should talk about him.
Okay.
His entire thing this episode was about the headlines. He's worried about the headlines. And then he says, by the end, he says, finally, the NYPD is trending for something good. And I don't want to laugh about the real world, but like, that's too real. That sentence is too real right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
In light of recent events, the timing is, there's a joke in there.
Right?
That might not have meant to be a joke, but there is definitely some comedic timing in that.
I was like, ooh, no, it's the NYPD is not trending for something good right now.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Anyway, so that's his story this episode.
Annoying though.
Sick of him.
Yeah, I definitely thought that his like arc was going to be over by now.
Yeah.
I really thought we were like building towards he's the enemy and he's the old way and that we'll get rid of him.
Well, it can't be, because now if we know that, am I blowing show news? I don't know. We know that there is a character. If we know that Garland is coming back, he needs to stay in that post. So like, I was wondering the same kind of as Yael is like, why are we not done with him? Like, this is not usually as high up on the food chain as we go continuously, right? But now I'm realizing, oh, it's because Garland's coming back, and there's probably going to be, he needs to be in place to make the storyline, work with him coming back in.
So not to jump too far ahead, but do you think that is what we'll finally deal with, whatever it is, and maybe hopefully get rid of him?
No, evil never dies. And so because of that, no. But do I think he may get put in his place? Yeah, I think he might get put in his place. I think he might be embarrassed. Yeah, I do think he might get embarrassed. Do I think there's some version, what is it? Retribution that he will get for the way that he treated this man and him coming back and then not having the power difference. That power dynamic is not there anymore. Now that's just a man and you're a man, right? So I think it will. I'm excited to see what it is, but I think he's gonna look stupid. Like I totally, I'm manifesting it.
All right,
yeah,
I'm into this. The episode ends with Benson giving Finn and Rollins credit and saying we all share in this victory. What did we think about that moment?
I thought it was kind of sweet because they did a lot of the heavy lifting. They went down there, and I have to say I really like that. Like Rollins especially got to go because I feel like that's like her.
Yeah.
Like she's from Georgia. Like I don't know. I feel like that was her element. I thought it was cool that she got to go, and then I obviously always love Finn, and I love the two of them together doing stuff. Was it like a little bit like weird and out of place? Yes, but I still thought it was sweet.
It was a little. I agree with Taylor. It was a little weird. But I think it was like if you've ever been in any position, right? If you've ever, like, for us, even, like, if someone were to ever be like, oh my God, you do such a great job on the show, you do something, like, we would all probably be like, yeah, but I get to do that because I have these amazing co-hosts, and that's how the show works. And, like, Taylor brings this, and Yael brings this, and Felicia brings this, right? And because you're a team, I mean, McGrath basically was like, oh, this is all because of Olivia Benson. And Olivia Benson was like, oh no, I know this is not all because of me. And so I felt like it was really, like, in line with her character, and it was awkward because she was put on the spot the way she was put on the spot, and then had to be like, but my folks at my station, my squad, they have my back, and that's who did the heavy lifting on this.
I think what was weird was that she was like, it was a task for, it was all these different groups together, blah blah blah, and then she was like, oh, also I forgot to mention these two specific people, and I'm like, why?
It's her Academy Award moment, right? Now I have to pick a new intro to introing this thought, but because I think that one's not going to work right now. But it's her Academy Award. It's the moment that you're like, okay, like, all right, so I want to thank God, I want to thank my mom, I want to thank, and after my God and my mom, I don't know who the fuck on that list. I don't know. So I think sometimes when people, like, get put on the spot like that, and they're trying to think of who to thank, they just are like, oh, well, it wasn't just me, it was everybody. And I was like, oh, Rollins and Finn, like, I have to say their names, kind of like, I have to, like, put it out there. And also, Olivia clearly doesn't like the cameras, clearly doesn't like being in the public eye, which is a huge part of her job. So I don't know why.
Yeah,
She's doing it. You don't like it. Tell me.
She literally said in this episode, was it this episode or the last episode, where she was like, it's hard work and I can't stand the politics or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I have that down. Yeah, it's this episode. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you not remember Cragen having to deal with all sorts of shit? Like, your entire career, you've seen it.
Y'all used to cut the fuck up in that squad. At least her squad kind of behaves. They were rogue in the OG days. They were wild. Like, they were terrible. They were bad kids. They were like teenagers. It was horrible.
What was that, Taylor?
I kind of miss it. Like, I loved that. They were unhinged. They were doing all kinds of shenanigans.
I just feel like Benson has forgotten that she used to pull a bunch of shit. Because, like, literally last episode, Velasco went rogue and she was upset about it. I was like, girl,
you have done that more times than anybody can count. Y'all are the MVPs of not listening to directive, especially down directive.
Right. All right. Anything else about the episode before we move on to best lines?
I like this one. Actually, like, as far as, like, the recent episodes go, I think this is probably one of the better ones.
Okay.
I like this one. It was good. And also, who doesn't love truck driver? Hello. Mobility, the access.
Oh, I got very frustrated because as soon as we were in Kentucky and they were like, this happened next to a truck stop. And I went, then it's a trucker, right? Like, it's a trucker. New York to Kentucky in a couple of days, trucker.
Yeah. Also, one thing about this episode I really liked was that they did something that I haven't seen them really do, is they looked in where it was like the incomplete rapes, right? The mistakes. Yes. And it was like, let's not look at all the times he did it right, because we're not going to be able to find more there. Where did he screw up at along the way? And that was a whole different, like, line of thinking recently that I've seen from the team. Okay, like, we're not just like, what did you do, but like, no, where did you mess up? And that was how it was solved. And I loved that part of it. Like, okay, there are other people out there he's probably done this to that maybe he didn't get as far.
Yeah, no, smart. You're totally right. Because, like, one of the things, this episode touched upon was the rape kits, the untested rape kits, that like, this is a constant thing that we see on this show. There's a constant problem in the real world. Yeah. And so the fact that they could, make the map and see where he's been going, and then realize, what, if he's learned by the time we have the tested kits to use protection, then, like, we need to find the ones where he messed up. And that, I think I like when our cops are smart. I like when they make a good choice or think about something, which is why it bothers me that they were like, oh, all of these are along the interstate. I wonder what he does for a living. Trucker. Okay. Yeah. All right. Best lines. Felicia, would you like to start?
Sure. Let me go on and pull it up. Well, I've never been breaking news before.
Damn it!
Normally state police would take over, but they're busy with a school shooting. We'll take all the help we can get. I know y'all didn't hit on two different national issues at the same time. Oh my God.
Too real.
Right? Okay. And then maybe someday Dateline or Netflix would want to do a special on me.
Nice.
And then last but not least, these are my roommate's pants.
Yes. I love that.
That's a terrible excuse, you dumbass. That's a horrible excuse.
I am so glad you didn't get my one other one.
Okay, I can't wait to hear it.
The only Miranda he needs is one that will get on her knees.
Yep. Okay.
I'm so glad you didn't steal that one from me.
That was great.
All right, Taylor, take it away.
You're gonna make me piss myself.
I have a couple that are like, I have a lot that actually like are exchanges, like hilarious exchanges between two characters. You work here? No. Then why is she unlocking the door? Like, he was such a bad liar. I'm like, you need to think of one cover story. Like, come on. This guy's file reads like the ABCs of crime. I really liked. Not a line, but did anyone else notice the MILF of Wall Street poster in this room?
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, what is that?
Need y'all to see
The
that.
MILF of Wall Street. Honestly, that poster was amazing.
Honestly, I'd have it in my room. Let's be so honest. This was the way that Olivia delivered the line. He said, I sort of had a coke deal. And she goes, great. Now we're getting somewhere. I love that so much. Great. Also the way that Finn said Brayden and Buster, because like those names are just
Those are the names.
Turn it off, cowboy. This is real music. Like, they really did the Kentucky citizens just so dirty in terms of stereotypes.
That accent was crazy that she had to like.
Turn it off, cowboy. This is real music. How would you feel about going back? No time soon. That's where you're wrong. And then finally, and like you said, sweetheart, patience is a good strategy. I love the sweetheart. We love a condescending sweetheart, and it's fantastic.
Thank you. Oh, my face hurts.
This had some really great lines.
It really did. Absolutely. This was. I don't want to compare it to last week's, but
girl, that's
actually very
compare. She doesn't want to compare.
We will, and we did in the poll, which we'll get to.
I know. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay. For those who missed it, the big news that we have is actual show news. Next episode, Garland will be reappearing. Reggie Lee and Chris Maloney are appearing in episode 20. Aiden Quinn is back in episode 21. What is that unhappy face, Felicia?
I had a happy face when he said Garland was coming back, but then he said like the other thing, and I was trying to still look happy for the people, so I'm holding it up.
I see.
I'm holding it up.
I am, yeah, I'm very excited about that.
That's not good.
All right. Also, we have said that if the show crosses over or something relevant happens with organized crime, or the mothership will tell you, and well, it hasn't. So moving along. It's time for the weekly poll.
Yo, so we are actually comparing this week's and last week's.
Exactly.
So which one you like better? Because we talked about both today. Let's see. Okay, so at the end of last episode, this one had 100% of the votes, and now it has a mere 83.3%, and 16.7% have voted for Once Upon a Time in El Barrio. And then we'll give you guys the final results next week. We'll see if there's a big upset. I can't imagine there will be, but we'll see. We'll tell you where to find that in a bit.
It would be amazing if all of a sudden everything just flipped. That'd be
Crazy.
wild.
Oh my God. And then healthcare was free. Imagine. Wild.
Okay. It's time for our favorite forgotten segment. What did we learn? I am so prepared.
I'm ready too.
I learned 2 things.
Whoa.
Felicia, would you like to start or do you want me to start?
I want you to go because you learned too. I want to see. I'm curious.
Okay. First thing I learned, I genuinely did not know that some casinos have bowling alleys.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I had no idea until this happened, and then I Googled it, and it's totally a thing.
That's cool.
Yeah. That was one of the things. I was very excited to learn that. And the second thing is something that I struggle with. Patience is a good strategy.
Oh, girl.
Sweetheart.
We are on the struggle bus together.
I don't do patience, which is why I don't do strategy. All right, Felicia, your turn.
Okay. What I learned was like the term, and maybe I heard it before on the show, but I learned it today, today, is incomplete rape. And the idea around that, right? Because when you hear that somebody's been assaulted or like you automatically think what you believe rape is, right? And everybody's probably guilty of that because we're not given a clear definition about consent. We are all learning all these new concepts. And so incomplete rape never really went through my mind like that, of the effects that it has on somebody. And when she was talking, she's like, yeah, they said my rape was incomplete, so they didn't even bother to do a rape kit on me. And y'all know I watched Station 19, and they had an episode recently where one of the characters was assaulted, but she wasn't raped, but they still did a rape kit on her. And they were like, there's still DNA that you can get from your body to find out who assaulted you. So I was like, that's an amazing amount of information to know about such a topic that touches everybody. Like, hey, if someone's assaulted or you're assaulted, even if someone doesn't get to, I guess, have a complete rape, which that's even incomplete rape or whatever, you should still go and get a rape kit done on you. Because imagine how many women probably have been in a situation, not even women, just people with another person, and they get too physical and that's not what you want. And you might be able to get away and you're like, oh, well, I wasn't raped. Well, you were assaulted, and there should be something that's done about that, right? And so I'm happy that they use that like twist to like kind of be able to uncover, who our assailant is, and then also educate at the same time. So I really love that part of it, and I learned that on this episode. I finally learned something good.
You learned something really good. I think
no pressure, Taylor. No pressure. No pressure.
I'm so fascinated by what you said, because you're totally right. In that, I feel like we don't hear that term incomplete rape on this show. I feel like we hear attempted rape.
Yeah.
And I think the great lesson to come out of the show is, if you are assaulted, go to the police and ask them to do these things. Even if they say no, try, because there's stuff that can come of it. Yeah. All right, Taylor.
Yeah, I was honestly going to touch on the same thing, and the fact that they use the phrase like survivorship bias, which was interesting. Just like that was another phrase that I found, like I was like, oh, I haven't really heard that used before. And also a little bit about like the voice recognition ID. Weren't they talking about how that's like as good as like a fingerprint? Which I thought, okay. And also, why the fuck would he not use a voice changer? I don't understand that, but there you go.
They did that in the back in the day, though. They put a thing over the phone.
Yeah.
Why are you not using one of those? I thought that was crazy.
I think what's so interesting is we're talking about 3 concepts now that have been brought up that were barely touched upon, that are very interesting, and things that have not actually been discussed on the show, right? Like the idea that a voice is as distinct as like a fingerprint has never been brought up before. I mean, I know they've had episodes where voice was the thing, but it's never been said that it's that distinct.
Yeah, that's for me. With Deep Space, like
same.
I'm like, well, I know on Deep Space I can make The Weeknd say anything I want him to say.
So I agree with you that I want to believe the show, but also like tell me more, because that sounds unbelievable.
Science. Tell me the technology behind that. I understand like why fingerprints work the way that they do, but like how is it like your voice, right? Because even people who are in the same families can have similar voices, right? Or like similar sounding voices. So
and voices change.
That
part. So these are just really interesting topics. Also, the incomplete rape and what was the other one, Taylor, that you said?
Survivorship bias.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. These are concepts that you're bringing up that we have never, I don't recall, and I've watched a lot of this show, I do not recall hearing about these concepts before. Why are we doing episodes that are very similar to other episodes and not these topics? You know what I mean? We have some learning in the chat as well. Holly says, I learned to never wear the logo cap of a trucking company you work for while committing a crime. Yeah.
Very good, Holly.
I'll say this. You should not be wearing anything that can tie you to what you do or who you are when you're committing a crime.
You should perhaps not commit crimes.
I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying, if you're going to, perhaps be smarter about it. Also, Alice says, I learned the meaning of the episode title by watching this review. All right. I'm glad.
Girl, I didn't know what 18 and 18, that was smart.
But 18 wheels like a truck.
Yeah, I was like, that's clever.
It's clever. All right. What's next? Announcements. Did we do the weekly poll? Yes. Okay. If you're new to our show, we sell merch. Go check it out. There's a link below. Some of it's funny, some of it's not.
Well, that is the least enthusiastic advertising for anything I ever heard in my entire life. Hey, if you love this show, if you love SVU, we come up with really cool jokes that we have here for all people that we love that watch the show. We're a little community and a family. We're not here trying to make any money off of you. We just want you to rock our stuff because it's funny shit and it's really cool. So if you go on and you check out our website and you can see all the cool stuff, and we also have a very special shirt for a very special episode about a very special little boy that Yael loves so much, a character named Noah. She loves children, and the proceeds from that particular piece of merch will actually go to. Thank you. Actually, don't help me now. You were helping us before. Will go to the Trevor Project, or another organization that supports LGBTQ plus youth and teens. And we don't make a lot of money off of it, but it's really cool and it's funny. So just check it out.
I love you so much.
I love me too. Sorry, y'all. I've been like by myself, like cooped up for the last couple of days. So.
You're doing great. We're all surviving. Okay. There's a new episode next week, and we will be back at our regular date and time, Sundays at 2. We're doing just the one episode next week. Whew, let's try not to do this again. 2 episodes back to back, I think, is too much. As you see, I lost steam at our last announcements.
It's okay. It's all right. We're almost there.
We're almost there. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us in our chat. I'm going to give us some shout outs, some names. We have Holly, we have Jennifer, we have Alice, we have Zach.
We would have Daryl, but he didn't watch the episode. So I'm just going to shout Daryl out now because Daryl normally would be here. But Daryl, you didn't watch the episode.
Daryl also is in the UK, and it is very late there. And he stays up just to watch our 2:00 show.
Stay up later. Never sleep. Never. Law and Order SVU is life.
So good. Danny is here. Danny also liked the thing about Pam.
I love that, Danny. That's a good one. Yeah.
I have a whole bunch of issues about it.
Oh, I know. I don't like that. The storyline was great, but I don't like that either. You could just hire somebody that looks like the woman.
I know. All right. Thank you all for joining us. Until next time, Taylor, where can everyone find you in the poll?
You can find me and the poll on Twitter at @alpha_and. You can also find me on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_.
Amazing. Felicia Michelle.
You can find me on Instagram at It's Felicia Michelle. I have a Twitter. Don't really use it. It's Felicia on air is verified, but I can't do this. I can just know how to do this. And also what you can find me doing. So if you go to my Instagram, I'm casting right now for NBC's The Wall, which you haven't seen The Wall. I don't know what you're doing. It's a really fun and positive game show. And I'm looking for incredible people that have incredible stories of doing really nice things for others. Not your mama, not your sister, you do nice things for your family. Who did you go above and beyond for? Those types of stories that I want to hear. I want diversity and lots of great energy. And yeah, slide up in my DMs if you think you're that person or you want to nominate somebody that you think could be great for the show.
I love that. Felicia, if you're casting other things, where should people make sure again to be following you? Because you announced your
on
castings.
Instagram.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you. Check that out. Dupe. I did it. Ugh, there it is.
Oh, look at us all knowing our directions. Beautiful.
It's too much thinking. I am Yael Tygiel. I'm ever at Yael Tygiel. That is YAELTYGIEL. You can find me later this week on the Hollywood Critics Association YouTube channel on a show called Hollywood Approved. Also, really, this is the place to find me. This is where I have the most fun talking with my girls and talking about SVU. I'm going to go watch SVU now. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.